They say peace is a handshake, but in my city, hands are too busy holding struggles. They say inclusion is a song, but the choir have been singing it without us. They say unity is a feast, but some of us have only fed on crumbs. And if the world is a table, why do some sit while others stand outside the door? If justice is blind, why does it always seem to recognize the rich in their pocket size? If home is where the heart is, why does mine feel like a battlefield? I am the child of bronze and broken dreams, where history is both crown and a curse. Born where chorals crown heads, but bellies stay empty. Where the other's voice roused like thunder, but the cries of my people drown in silence. I've seen walls so high, they keep out more than just invaders. Borders drawn with ink, guarded with hunger, patrolled by fear. I've seen my mother's turn suffering into sacrifice. Watched my father teach me that silence is sometimes the safest advice. I've seen boys mold anger like clay, shaping it into something sharp. Watch girls trade their innocence for a seat at the table. They still won't serve them. Here, they tell you hard work pays, but in reality, some depth don't clear with just sweat alone. But then, the wind whispered me a different rhythm. Not just words, but war cries, dressed as lullabies. Not just poetry, but prophecy. Not just a voice, but a weapon sharper than blades that cut my ancestors down. It is the ink that unveils the sword, the fire that refuses to flicker, the river that remembers its part, even when the earth forgets. They tell me the pen is mightier than the sword. But what happens when the ink runs dry? What happens when history is written without our fingerprint? What happens when voices like mine are echoes instead of earthquakes? No, this is not just art. This is not just expression. This is a bridge built from bones and ballads, a monument carved from the mouths of those that tried to silence. So today, I did not just speak, I unravel. But the boy in Nuselu, who was never invited to dream. For the girl in Igun, who was taught to silence more valuable than the words. For the forgotten, the forsaken, the left behind. For the peace that was promised but never delivered. For the inclusion that was preached but never practiced. The wind is my witness, the earth is my stage. And with these words, I build a bridge the set could never stand.